We are live. Welcome, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Good evening.
How's it going? What's happening?
Nothing much. Enjoying a few beverages on a Thursday night. You thought it was Tuesday before.
Yeah, no. It's been a rough week.
Awesome. It's going to be good to get, the filmmakers and the music makers in the same room for a change. Don't often get to see that.
Yeah, well, we've
in the
tied our
past.
coattails to Ben pretty quickly. So
They never ever let
yeah, no one actually cares about us.
And now COVID's in full swing. I'm tying myself back onto them. You can't get rid of me.
It's a symbiotic rope. I like it.
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Thanks for having us. I suppose we're here
This is
to
awesome.
talk about ourselves, which
You're-
we do a lot in private, but it's weird doing it.
Yeah, you're a very brave man.
Yeah.
And so how did that first encounter happen with you and SAFIA?
Yeah.
I'll let Jimmy take.
Well,
It's your
I'll
story,
like
I guess.
I'll say it until then you're relevant, which I suppose is how most stories are told.
Oh, when I was relevant.
Yeah. Anyway, so I had always wanted to make a music video. I was a student at the University of Canberra, so go there.
Shout
it's
out.
pretty sick.
Shout outs.
And made a lot of short films and different pieces, but I always wanted to do a music video because I was really lazy with audio. And I watched one TED Talk by Andrew Stanton, the director of Finding Nemo, and he said, if you can tell a story without using audio, then you can. It's kind of like doing it with one hand tied behind your back. So if you can get the discipline down. You can tell a story with audio, and you can use it more sparingly and not over explain things. So I was like, yeah, cool. Want to do some music videos. Jumped on Triple J Unearthed and listened to all the local bands that I was like, okay, what's out here? And happened across the SAFIA page, and I think Mercury and Stretched and Faded was up there.
Very early days. I
Very
think,
early
yeah.
days. And
We
I was
would
like,
have
oh.
just been throwing stuff up online.
Yeah.
We weren't even thinking about it at that stage. It was.
Yeah, no, well,
Yeah.
I was more like, wow, these guys sound stupid enough to take me on. Because if this is the,
And we
if
were.
these are the choices they're making musically, then they must be terrible. So I just jumped on Facebook and got in touch with whoever's running their page and said I'd love to make a music video, and I think the timing couldn't be more perfect.
Yeah, it was some crazy timing, actually. It was like the first time we were ever considering making a video clip. So we had those 2 songs up on there. And it was like, yeah, we were doing it for fun. We never really thought much about it. And there was a whole array of other projects we were doing, and we just chucked that up. And then after putting those songs up there for, 2 or 3 months, one of them randomly got played. And we're like, oh, okay, maybe we should make another. And so it just so happened that next song was one that we're like, okay, well, let's release this properly. Let's think of a video clip. And then we were like, okay, how do we do that? And who should we call? And we have no money. Who's going to make us a good clip? And then, yeah, you just happened to get in touch, and I looked at...
I think I'd only done like a short film back
you'd
then.
done a few short films and stuff. I was like, ooh, these look expensive. Enough for us at the time. And yeah, and the song just happened to be Listen to Soul, that you were like, okay, I got this song. You got an idea to make something.
Yeah. Well, I remember we met at Gus's. I think it still exists, I think. A lot
Does
of
it?
shout outs. Yeah, I think we should
Yeah,
get
they
it.
just got the renovation.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
ABC,
Yeah.
we
This is
did
the
that.
fourth
Why?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it was with you guys and your old manager. And that night you emailed me I think you had something down for listeners. So like, this is this song we're talking about, thinking of doing it.
Yeah.
I think about 2 hours later, I sent you a link on Vimeo using like cut up
Yeah, I remember
other
that.
things, just being like, I want to project, something on a wall. Because I think I was also like, well, obviously they're going to want to be in their video clip. Everyone wants to be in their video clip. I'm not a bit like, I don't
Found the
watch
one
music
band
videos
that
did
doesn't want to be in
but-
front of the camera at all. I just want to make my music.
Yeah, which is why in that one they're in it, because I was like, I better pitch it so that they're all front and center, because look at the ego of this guy. And yeah, we basically, and I actually, the best thing about this is I think I enjoy the videos without, with them on mute. So they're just something.
Appreciate the
extra to
finer
them.
art of
Yeah,
it, which
exactly,
is our filmmaking.
But like we filmed the parts in like the bits that are being projected in my parents' old garage in Hughes.
Oh, I don't remember meeting many friends in my life, but I have the clearest memory of your parents' roller door opening and just these 3 like small pasty figures stumbling through, Ben looking no different to now, except maybe a few little stubbly chin hairs.
I've got some bum fluff.
Back
Who
then it
would
was just
know
a
all
bum.
these years later?
Yeah, but it's true. It was like there was
Oh, yeah.
very
Green light. Ooh,
The passion.
fancy new tech.
there was chemistry on that first shoot, which was just like, oh, these guys are cool.
Yeah.
These are fun guys.
We felt like it was because there was 3 of us, and at the time it was
Three of us as
Yeah,
well,
there's you 3, and we felt like we just found the video versions of us, and like the same sort of dynamic. So it just like clicked immediately, and it was like super fun.
Yeah, well, it was great. And like, it was black and white because I just didn't know how to shoot yet. So I was like, yeah,
This clip's
ugly
actually really
LED
cool.
I
color.
haven't seen
Yeah,
this in years.
this gives
It's been a
yeah,
while.
it's so simple. But
It's simple, but it
like-
gives off like it. It captures.
God, we were lucky that night. Look at that misty night.
Yeah,
That
it
was
really
during,
captures something. It gives off a vibe, and
yeah, your face on a wall. Look at that.
But that's all like practical. Like that was us just literally
Wow,
pointing
Harry
a
looks
projector
so
out
young.
of a window.
Yeah, that was like
I
back
didn't
then.
actually see it.
And the entire
Aged.
budget of the clip was basically hiring, I think it was a C300 back then, which was the only camera you could see in the dark, or somewhat. And we literally, you were driving my old Honda around Sydney. Josh had we had a projector attached to a dodgy car battery inverter. Like, it was very dodgy. And then I was in the back seat filming the footage, and we played it all in double speed so we could use slow motion as a crutch, which you'll see a lot tonight. So,
Slow emotion.
slow
as we like
emotion,
to
there it
call
is.
yeah.
And that's the Sydney Harbour Bridge. It was just such
That's
a
the Harbour
lucky
Bridge.
to have it all, really misty. And we actually got pulled over by the cops. I don't know if you remember that.
We got pulled over twice.
Oh, we did.
Yeah, because
I remember.
Apparently you can't drive around with a projector going.
yeah,
around your car.
luckily it was during Vivid Sydney
probably
Festival,
thought
so we
you
said
were
we were an
like,
art installation.
It was during Vivid,
Yeah.
so I was just like, oh, it's an installation for
Oh,
Vivid.
cool,
We're just
on
going to
your way.
project this,
Yeah.
and it's just so it's a lot of bullshit.
You were projecting to the cops.
Yeah. And they believed that at 2 a.m.
Projecting
And they were actually
confidence.
just more interested technically. I was like, yeah, this is like because we had a laptop attached to the projector, and yeah, it went nuts. And then I remember you sat with me for the edit, and we just like
Yeah,
sat there for like 8 hours straight.
we did a. Yeah, those were fun.
Yeah,
the full
unencumbered,
night,
but
yeah. Very uncovered.
and that
Oh, the
just-
innocence of youth.
Yeah, and luckily it happened to be an okay song that did quite well on Triple J. And then I was like, sweet. I'm going to pretend I like these guys for longer. But yeah, that was done on the smell of an oily rag. And
I remember being
we
so
loved every
excited
minute
because
of
we
it.
got Rage. It was played on Rage,
Oh, that was so
and we got that email being like, "You're going to be the clip of the week." I was like, I don't know what that is. But this sounds amazing.
Yeah,
And we
yeah.
stayed up at Josh's place till like 3 a.m. waiting for it, and finally it played. And it was just like, get your phones out, take pictures. We're the best. Yeah, this is our moment.
Yeah.
That was the first.
That was the first. Was that 2012?
13, I saw down the
13.
bottom there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot dog.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just 2 Olympics ago.
That's too,
Or
too
one.
long.
So awkward.
2.1.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, it was a great, I suppose, process to just learning what the hell we're doing. I mean, you kind
We're
of
still learning.
still learning. You never
Still
know.
have no idea.
It's true. And just throwing things around as ideas. And I think that was the reason that you guys were in them a lot was just like, all right, I've got to pitch this as the artist will want to be in this, and we need to show them in it. And then luckily after the fact, you were like, oh, no, we're not actually that interested. So when we had ideas for other clips, you were like, oh, no, we don't really want to be in them. I was like, yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I just wanted to make little short films, really, that I didn't have to worry about writing dialogue for, which was,
It was kind of good because, yeah, when we write music, and I know for myself anyway, I see visuals when I write. I see like colors and landscapes often. A lot of landscapes. So I've always connotated the music with more bigger encapsulating
Like a
visuals
cinematic sort of,
rather
yeah.
than like focus centric on us.
yeah.
So it kind of it lent itself really well to a storyteller or something we could build like a new idea or like capture the song in a different light that may be unexpected. That's not obvious and that's not like a record label style clip.
Well, I mean, all the cool clips then were
looks
just
like a Coca-Cola ad or something.
they're all
so-
Coca. The young people in the sun. It was a lot of like early 20-somethings romance stories, and I'm just like, and when they're done well, they're great. But I just wasn't really speaking to me at the time. I was like,
No.
I just want to do weird stuff. I think, and it's also like every clip from there on. I think there was always a technical challenge. It was like, I want to do a project. Like I was like hinge it on one idea, so a projected part. The next clip we did was integrating animation with live action. The one after that was
That was a
do it in
real
one
challenge.
shot. Yeah.
That was the thing though, because it was like you've got these like smallish budgets, so let's make ideas that kind of we want to see in 3 minutes without sound. What stories can we tell? And it was just crazy the amount of ideas that would come out because you had the animation for the second clip. For Paranoia.
Funnily enough, the ideas were better when we had way smaller budgets,
Yeah.
and then the budgets get bigger, and you like leave
Yeah.
room for all, and you kind of
I love
call on other
problems, really,
people
yeah.
to get ideas, and you get these half-baked things half the time that just it's just missing that like that passion because
Yeah.
I think what you got to make up for with lack of budget you make up for with passion
Yeah.
and ingenuity
scrappy
and
and-
creativity, and so there is that perfect, especially when you're starting out, that like perfect balance where you are restricted by budget, but sometimes that generates
Exactly.
the best
yeah, you don't worry about
ideas
your
and-
mortgage or I spent 2
Yeah.
hours on this. It's just it was all
Every
I
cent
was
was on
doing.
the
It's
screen
like, yeah.
as well. It was just like, yep, let's just throw all this in. Let's call in some favors. We're still early in our careers, so we could basically be like, friends, family, come be extras.
Yeah, they're pretty sick of it now. I'll tell you. But yeah, and it was like even like the next clip. I remember we were worried we were going to lose you guys because we're like, oh, I think they're a good friend Jaeger. He sounds cool and he's an animator and I think he's doing an animated clip. I'm like, oh shit. And then I think you then connected us because you're like, oh, well, Jaeger actually needs some live action stuff, so like let's collaborate. And I remember having
wicked
like
webs we weave.
Yeah, exactly. Catch up with him and be like, oh, god damn, now it's another cool dude I love.
Handsome and
Damn it,
funny
yeah.
and talented. God damn.
That's like a mirror. And it was actually like, okay, so he's already done like some graffiti, he's done these really cool designs. We just need to figure out a story as to why graffiti's coming alive on these walls. I'm like, I love parameters. Like you said, like a blank piece of paper sucks because it's like, where do you start? Whereas like, here's the box that you need to just like think outside of, which was one of the wankiest things you'll hear all night. But that's it won't be. That's bottom 10.
That's definitely not.
Yeah, no.
Big wanker.
But, having those problems to go, all right, let's sink our teeth into this. And we just came up with, a weird idea. Sam was the star of it.
I always forget that.
Yeah, you're the
Do
guy.
you?
I actually
I don't know.
genuinely
This
do.
is pretty much what you lead with.
In the beginning.
We've seen your Tinder profile,
Back
mate.
into it. No, the weirdest part about me being in this clip was because of the animated elements of it was the amount of stories I heard of. That's the second time, by the way, I've almost had a spilly.
Get a grip.
Good save. Good save.
Yeah.
Second beer.
Used
It's
to
always
play
that
it.
bad. We can't,
I was pretty good
That's
at
why we
cricket
don't
back
take
in the
him
day.
out.
I was in the slips.
But
There was
this
stories of young kids
Yeah.
really, really liking this clip, and
I
the
got
song
I
as
got a new
well,
camera
for
with a
some
lot of
reason.
slow mo, so that's why it's really quite slow.
I'm not comfortable right now.
And Jaeger knocked out of the park. So we
Oh, yeah,
filmed this
smashed
around
it.
Fishwick. The dolly was a wheelchair with one deflated wheel. It was also the back of my old Subaru
Yeah, that
opening
was
the boot.
awesome. We're
Real
just out in
scrappy.
Fishwick, just filming it with Dan Kempton as well. And
I
just
love
like,
these shots in the room as well.
Yeah, that was just like, how do we kind of, and obviously, when you're a student, the ideas tend to be a bit wankier. I'll be honest. I don't,
you still have those shoes.
Yeah,
when
exactly.
you're a student, they're only getting wankier and wankier.
I feel like
I'm a student of the
it's one of
world.
those like 10 years later, like our careers are over and we're looking back on the glory days. Like, oh yes, do you remember when we did this?
Too true.
Before it
Beautiful.
started. Yeah.
clip
Oh,
out
look
with
at
no
that.
money.
In the wall.
I mean,
See,
that's
like, all the
amazing. You
best
watch
things
the
in this
video
clip are
effects,
actually
yeah.
Jaeger. I mean, he nailed this, and
Yeah.
he's one of those guys that just learnt. He learnt by doing. I did.
So
pump
yeah,
out with smoke.
I asked Jaeger, who was a friend from school actually, and I was like, so do you reckon you can animate a clip? And he's like, well, I haven't done it before, but I can learn. And yeah, so he basically learned how to do this whole process in a few months. I feel bad because he didn't get a lot of sleep.
I feel bad because we did all the filming and then I went on holiday to like England. I was like, all right, have fun. Which is why he rightfully has the co-directing credit because he directed all the animation.
you wouldn't know this was a first attempt.
No, he's absolutely.
Well, I
unique.
trusted that he's a bit of a little artistic genius.
Yeah.
So I knew he could do it when he said he could do it.
And his bear became your like logo.
It did for a while, yeah.
yeah.
That's all right. There's someone got that tattooed onto them, didn't they?
They did.
A few people.
They did.
It was strange.
We have the Crux logo files if anyone wants to tattoo that.
Were these visions part of those you were talking about when you were writing?
No. But like usually for the when I'm writing, it is very a visual process, and so I often see. Often it's landscape based, and so now, especially when I work in the studio where I was last at, I have like a big TV hanging over the top, and whenever I'm writing certain songs that evoked a certain landscape or a certain space, I would basically have visuals of that and like they all kind of evoke a certain color. But in that sense, it was always the idea of having a very visual focused, and it was.
But you never stacked the deck, which is cool. You weren't like your clip needs to be about this. You would literally just palm it up.
Well, that's I kind of.
It would be starting from scratch.
Yeah, just what do you reckon?
Yeah, it was like kind of give a few outlines of, hey, here's some ideas. This is the like guidelines, and this is what we have to play with, and then passing over and kind of putting that trust into. These guys and Jaeger, and letting them do their thing as well, and like kind of with that openness is where you get really great ideas that I think connect because they evoke something real.
Well, I suppose that's how music is digested by people. It's people have personal relationships with music and things that might not be what the artist intended, but they take on an entire new life.
Yeah,
and I think another benefit is that we had these songs for a while before you needed them as clips, which is nice. So we could really think about it, have a lot of crap ideas before we had the less crap idea.
You can't beat anything but time.
No.
If you have it, time and preparation.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was
Do
great
your
with
work
that clip.
beforehand, and then it looks like it all comes together last minute, but it's all that preparation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was a really, really fun. And that's those sort of like going back to those unencumbered days of like, there's just no responsibilities here, but still getting the confidence with these alongside, doing short film and corporate stuff. We didn't just do one thing and lean all the way into it. There was always different things happening.
Yeah.
Which meant that, and I think we just got closer as well as.
I know, and there was that, like I was saying before, that there was that openness and that trust creatively between the three of us and you guys and Jaeger, and I think that's been kind of a theme of like both of the careers. It's always been a very open thing, and it's not about one person's idea. And I think that's where great ideas often form.
Absolutely.
It
was cool because at that point, and as it kept going, I guess like there was this kind of commensurate level of like all of us getting better at the things we were doing. Like Jimmy and I were just fresh out of uni. I think we filmed it the day after the Lights Canberra Action Festival.
Did. Yeah.
Which is on right now.
Do it. Which was an amazing festival. That was another thing that gave us confidence. Films in
that by that stage, that's why I think it was really smart of you to say, let's go into music videos, because you made the short films that had the no dialogue.
Yeah.
And then it was like, now let's do this thing that has to be kind of like with the, that goes along with the song, which I think like emotion and feeling comes from the soundtrack of a movie more than anything. I think we even learned like 60% of it is sound and 40% is visual because of how much those two work in simpatico. So it's really cool, like looking back on these and being like, like these were great. And like I enjoyed the process the whole way through, like planning it, shooting it, taking it into the edit after, and just being like, how can we make this like as awesome as possible? And then,
absolutely, and cutting on beats and things that which do translate to outside music videos, and had an appreciation for music I didn't have before, because I was a very visually bad, absolute movie nerd, annoying movie trivia stuff, but music was not my strong suit. And then finding people like you guys who are just all the way in it, you live and breathe it, just talk it, and it was like, oh, this is cool. As you said, it was like the audio equivalent of us, and we could just all nerd out on being stupid. Like we could just be stupid and come with stupid ideas and never felt like that was stupid, because it's
no idea.
Everyone would be
like,
stupid. Oh, that's cool. That's a cool element.
I'm a big I think if you take an idea far enough, no matter how stupid, there's always something magical in there, and you have no idea as well. It's often the stupid ones that are the best.
How did you come up with the "You Are the One" idea?
That was again another technical thing I wanted to do, because that was like I wanted to do a single shot clip But a lot, like I just wanted to just have
Yeah.
that discipline.
Actually, that's what it is.
I
It's
do
the
remember
listen-
that, yeah.
It's the song. It's listening to the. So you'd get the track, or
Yeah.
we'd get the single off you before it came
And I'd
out.
just play it
and you
over
play it
and
and be
over.
like, "What's the theme?" Like you used to do the aeroplane.
Yeah, yeah.
One of those.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I used to fly a bit for my job at the time, which was filming in daycare centers around the country. It sounds weird, but above board. And sorry,
Most of it was for
and that client's
Some was
gone.
passion.
Now.
And they're gone.
And they're gone. But yeah, it was really just around the idea of. I think it was really like, okay, imagine if it's the end of the world, but you're not with the person that you want to. Like, you have 3 minutes to get to the person that you want to spend the
are
rest
the
of the
one.
one. Yeah, because you
right,
are the one.
right.
So the whole idea was, she's actually not with the one who is actually Cal Smith. He
He's
was
my personal trainer.
Yeah, yeah. There's
I
a very concurrent thing
thing
of
shout out, but he
Canberra
hasn't been
is
for
that
years,
everyone
so
knows
don't
each
use
other.
this as a bad ad for him. All right? He's actually good. COVID's
He's
better.
returned back to the before. Photo.
Yeah, exactly. Ebbs and flows. And a lot of it was like a lot of location scouting because I knew I wanted the sun to be setting right behind them, and a lot of it is luck. It's making
lot of luck.
super
I think
cloudy
this
day.
clip in particular, I remember the day of shooting because this, when you see as it progresses, we only really had one day we could have done this with all the stuff we
We
organised.
weren't meant to be there either.
Yeah,
70% chance of rain that day.
there was.
And then we ended up getting like one of those really beautiful Canberra pink sunsets.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Amazing.
holy.
Yeah.
And
I
actually,
was
Rob
gonna ask you about
Chauvel's,
Yeah, we just got so lucky. Yeah.
my mentor Rob Chauvel's, he actually color graded it, so it really helped kind of push that pink because that was filmed on the back of a golf cart holding a monopod. It wasn't even a stabilizer with an FS700, and just kind of just seeing that the shadow was hitting the lens was good enough for me. There was no focus pulling, so it's pretty.
This is a
wide
community
open.
effort come together. That's
Yeah,
signs
this
and
is-
symbols right there, those
Behind.
boys.
There's the
There's
there's the
the
lads.
little
It's the
SAFIA
SAFIA
lads.
cameo.
Wearing my
I think there's
amazing beanie.
it's beautiful.
Oh, okay.
Next to a hybrid though, so
Yeah.
you guys were very helpful. That ambulance was my neighbor. Like I literally would run past her house all the time. She had an ambulance. And one
This
day
is the
knocked on the
wonders
door.
of being creative in Canberra.
You can just ask. And I remember like
The little things of this video just sell it so much. Like this is my favourite video, SAFIA video. Hands
Yeah, I
down.
love,
Yeah.
I love,
So
I
proud of
love
this
this
one.
clip.
Thanks, man.
It's
Yeah.
Jimmy's
That's my
parents.
mum.
Yeah, thanks for
My
that. Because
dad.
like this was an interesting one.
This
'cause,
is
like,
all of our friends as well.
Yeah.
It's
This
just
was the
like
first time we tried to do it kind of legit. Like we rang the airport to ask if it was okay to set off flares. Like we tried to get
Yeah.
permission from ACT Roads. No comment.
Great. Actually, shout out to Hugh Sanders.
Oh, there's Chris Steele. He's the minister for.
That's the minister of transport.
for Canberra now.
Slide on his feet. And shout out to Hugh Sanderson for the
We got
event.
Yeah, and he
Kojo,
also got the
Citizen
fire
K in
truck
there.
And he
for
got the
us.
fire
Yeah,
truck.
thanks,
And
man.
all of this was on the smell of an oily rag as far as the budget.
Yeah.
So I'm actually, I don't know
Wow.
if we could recreate
There's a
this for
fire-
the budget that we
I don't
did.
think you
Mm.
could do it anymore.
That's Citizen K.
Yeah, it is. It's
Yep.
Kojo right
Yeah.
there. Matty Fool.
And I think we did, what was it, about 4 or 5 takes?
Yeah.
This is the second last one. Because
Yeah.
we'd go up and down, but there'd be too much smoke.
Is that Fumi?
or-
Yeah,
that's
that's the same
Fumi,
Fumi,
yeah.
yeah.
He's
My
skinny.
niece. Yeah.
And just the way the sun worked with that actor, like
Yeah.
how it just
Yeah, Nicole was
perfectly
great.
comes in.
Oh,
and
there's
out,
me
like-
again. Shameless haul.
Yeah, and we just basically got our good-looking friends. So I was like, all right, this is Sam's good-looking friend.
Yeah,
then.
that's friend
That
Neil.
was it.
And also that white truck in the
And then-
background was my car for 8 years. I got rid of it last week. Rip. Rip.
And so we have the track playing double speed as we went. So we actually pre-recorded timings on the track. So it was like, okay,
That's right.
firefighter here and stop here. So
And the song
we
was
could
playing
tell
double
ourselves,
time
and it was
again.
playing double time.
Yeah.
And then Hugh Sanderson
And then
did that, which was fantastic.
The world ends.
And it ends.
Because we thought it might have been the end of your career. So
Yeah.
I thought we'll let it go with a bang.
Yeah. Exactly.
I prefer the Ariana Grande version much better.
I was gonna say
Too
we
soon.
can't talk about this video,
How did that all kick off, Ben?
That's my first
and I want to try and I'll play the
first
two
experience of
together.
what the internet can be.
I never want to be famous. Never.
You can tell it was pre-Trump because it was a slow news week.
Oh, you've already got it on free.
There it is.
I mean, this is it's one of those like crazy, weird coincidences.
Like, oh
but
yeah, I think it was
but
just, yeah. It was
just also a crazy time for all of us. I still
I
remember.
was young and impulsive,
Yeah.
and that's why you need to think about what you write on social media before you write it.
Yeah.
Because I just
That's
Okay,
so
well,
true.
tell us about that. So because I didn't know this. Did they come for you? Basically?
No. I just found it and was tired and would come back from a show, so I decided to write a.
It was just like a Facebook post. Or something.
Yeah, it was a Facebook post, strongly worded Facebook.
Yeah,
post.
but at the time when you've got a few like 100,000.
But at that time, I was incredibly naive as to what the internet was capable of. Because we only had a few hundred, maybe 1,000 followers online. It was still very early days, and then suddenly, when you had the whole internet coming at you, you got a lot of what are the Ariana Grande fans called?
I don't think I could say the word
Grande
on
lattes.
TV. Oh, right.
I don't know.
Officially. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know how we felt
Well,
about
no,
it.
our YouTube comment section just became just a swirling toilet of just the vitriol
Yeah.
of 14-year-olds who just had nothing better to do except just be mad. But like you were getting calls from like The Project and Triple J.
Yeah, I did a
being
radio interview on
let's
Triple J,
let's talk
so,
about it. And you're like, why? It's
I just like took it. I took the piss of it because and like our budget would have been less than her makeup budget. So it's
I think that's the funny thing about it is that video just took all the like heart out of it.
it's
in a
very
way,
American. Like it's very hits you over the head.
Yeah,
like all
like-
the news clips. It's just very
Yeah.
exposition heavy, and it's like I
They
like
took a
pe-
little
passing
different
things out
direction.
slowly.
Yeah,
It's
yeah. Like that's
what's
the
going
funny
on?
thing.
Like we don't start with the fire truck because when do you go from there? Like you gotta
yeah.
ease in there. It's like a ramping. But I think the biggest sort of parallels was obviously because it's a single shot, but then also the color grade in the sky and it being multiple comets, and which is in lots of things. I'm not pretending like we came up with the end of the world being comets at all. It was just more the series of events, and it came out I think 3 or 4 months after.
yeah.
So the timing was just like okay.
and just a few key moments where it's like
Yeah, there's a
And
few.
the last shot,
the last
especially,
shot.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was just like, and I even remember, I think Max Landers, the director, he even was like on Twitter, like DMing and being like, "We cool, man." I'm like,
It's like we don't give a shit. It's everyone else that's now fighting between themselves.
yeah. And then it kicked off, and then I believe it was an Injured Ninja. Then was another clip that had existed before ours. We're like, "Oh, well, you guys stole ours." I'm like, genuinely didn't. So I know what it's like to be.
But the thing about that was
accused of that.
they all went to the media or whatever having a
We
big
had
go
talked
at
to
us.
them
But
before
we
that.
had talked to them months earlier when they were like, "Hey, this clip looks a bit like ours," and we were like, "Oh, honest mistake. It had less than 500 views or something." at the
Yeah,
time,
like
so
I
we
couldn't
had
have found
no
it. I
idea.
tried because I would often type in ideas before we'd make them or even pitch them because I'm like, this is an idea I'm having. I wonder if I just saw it somewhere. But
I do that
could
whenever
not
I
find
think
it.
of an album title that might be cool, and then I look it up. I'm like, damn it, everything's taken.
Ah.
I thought it was an original thought.
Yeah, the White Album was a good idea. I just think it's been done. But I mean, that's cool.
You changed the
Those
name
are
of
very
Billy John.
pale.
to Silver.
Yeah.
Write a great song, and then I go home like, oh, that's that song.
Yeah.
Just channeling something.
But
in my
there is that sort of
subconscious.
parallel
That's
thought, and there are a lot of examples of that happening in the public.
Yeah.
So.
But it was, in a way, I'm kind of glad this happened because I remember Ben and Harry from SAFIA as well. We all went out for a beer when this was at its like zenith. We all just sat down shaking our heads like, oh no, what have we done?
I think I aged about
This
a
is
year.
bad, yeah. And like Jimmy was traveling
I
for
was
work
on the
at
road,
the
so
time,
I'd just
getting
be
these
the
texts.
Facebook
and-
thread with you guys.
Here's another
and just be like,
article.
oh, here's another article. This person said this, and then like this person's trolling you, and I was just like, this is so stressful.
And then
This
like
is
2
so-
days later, it was just
Yeah.
gone.
That's some
No one ever
shit.
talked about it again. But if you look at the comment section of
Thank
that,
you.
there'd still be
Next.
comments. Thank you. That's a good album title.
Yeah, you should do that.
Oh, maybe I'll look that one up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I
I
mean,
think
just-
this
it's
was
just
one of the
this
more
that was
like
a bit
damning,
like, oh,
like
come
all
on.
right, and then they hug it out. But just like horrible. I'm just not a big fan of green screen. I try and avoid it where I can. Try and do it optically, or I'll figure it out. I don't know. It's a lot of purple.
And I can almost say without a shadow of a doubt that Ariana Grande never once saw You Are the One.
I reckon she definitely saw it. I reckon she definitely saw it.
I mean, if
330
I reckon Max
million
Landers
views.
saw it. I don't.
Max
think Ariana
would have
Grande
seen
saw
it,
it.
yeah, potentially. But he's, I don't know what he's doing now.
Yeah, a lot.
But that was, a great learning experience, that's for sure.
It was. Put some hairs on the chest, which is nice. But wouldn't
I needed them.
Yeah.
I looked
They've
12
migrated
at
up
the time.
to here now. Which is nice. Yeah, so that was. I mean, that was
It's
such a
kind
fun-
of got to feel good too, like that someone would take something and take inspiration from it too, though.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get if that is great, but I think even just the people rallying that didn't know us but said that ours looked better, which I know it's subjective, whatever, but that was nice. And coming from when you're starting out in film, you want pats on the back for getting things in focus, or like making sure it's like not lit horribly. So they then just have work slowly just kind of merge into what is expected, and now those not be compliments anymore. It's actually like a quietly confidence building thing. He's like, oh, good, I want this to blend in with what's out there. That's
good.
the point.
Learned some important lessons very early on.
Yeah.
Before it was like...
You probably got exposed to a bunch of new fans
Yeah, I'd say
through that process.
Yeah, I'd
There
say
were
so.
comments that did sort of say
Yeah,
that.
they were like, yeah.
But then people thought it was like a publicity stunt. I was like, well, this, that didn't... that whole, like,
didn't
there's no
work.
such thing as bad publicity. Like,
Views
that's
doesn't
not
mean
entirely
anything,
true. But
Love the comments. Who cares? These are a small band anyway. It's like, well,
It's
I mean,
true.
I don't know how to deny it.
You're not wrong. But
Very
Still
smaller than small.
yeah. That's right.
Cool thing about that was segue was that was the clip that then preceded Embracing Me, which was the first one with like the budget. So it was like giving us a chance to then be like, all right,
Prove
there's
it,
a little
yeah.
bit of money now, so let's see what we can. Let's take one of Jimmy's ideas and actually, go a little bit crazy with it.
Well, that one was, I think, a
Was it
beautiful.
Vincent Venus?
I think that's still my favorite thing. I think I've ever made is Embracing Me.
I'd have to agree with that.
And
Need
I think it's
need
because
help with the
Embracing Me-
title?
Yeah, I was like, it's been a minute. But it's because we had the song for almost a year before you wanted to release it. So that-
time.
And
Time.
when I first heard it, I was like, this is an amazing Coca-Cola ad. Like, it's a convertible on a cliff, And it was in like, it's it's really nice and happy.
It's summery.
Beautiful. And then on one of those flights that so my rule for myself for clips were like, I would have it on repeat. I'd have a notepad, and whatever idea I finish writing when the song starts again, I have to like rip that paper off and start a whole new idea. But halfway through a flight, I was obsessed with cults at the time and loved the idea of like a preacher hatefully spitting these lovely words.
You make a good cult leader.
I think I would. Yeah, I think I would. I don't know. I don't know why I have friends, so I think that's already like a bit cult leadery.
You
like,
pay me to
that's
hang around.
It's multi-level. It's multi-level marketing, basically. And yeah, that all just came. And then it was also perfect timing because you guys got signed halfway between us making this. So we suddenly had a budget we didn't know we'd have. And Warner had to like inherit us because it was too late to pull out of the video cast based on like Canberra Weekly covers. I was like, oh, she'd make a perfect.
We were at the airport. I remember being like, we cannot find an actor for this thing. And then we just looked across and it was like, oh,
she's got the look.
She looks great.
Yeah,
Yeah, let's get
that's
her. And also like, and this is a song, it's crazy that like probably one of the best clips is like the song of yours, Ben, that's like still one of the most popular when you play it live. And I just want you to say thank you because
when you see the crowd doing this, you're like, that's because the creature. That's right. It's all us. But that's
one of my
big thanks
favourites to hear
actually
live.
It is good
Rob
live.
Shawvelsen, who was the DP for this. So I was like, all right, I'm going to stop shooting these so that I'm like a real director. I can like point at things and grab the coattails of more talented people. And his wife George actually was in, the contact that got us involved with David. Because I was like, I really the central character, the preacher, needs to be incredibly charismatic and basically carry it. So we didn't mind putting a bit of budget into having him for a day and just tightly scheduling one day where we get all his shots. And actually, again, those parameters helped us be a bit more creative. I mean, we had storyboards where he would, she'd be sneaking out of the house and he'd be waking up at night. It was like, no, we have to have that realization happen in the church because we only have him for a day. That's why all his scenes are in the church.
I think, those moments where, so when he was doing this, we've never worked with an actor before. We'd finish takes and everyone in the church would just applaud.
Yeah.
Because
He
it was
so
just
good.
like, holy
He gave it 110
crap.
every
It's
time.
like goosebumps. And like you look back at the, the shots we just had and even on the playback, you just like get chills and be like, oh my God, we nailed this. Like it's the closest
Say
thing
that
to
in public, all right?
Well, I mean,
No, we did though.
yeah, but I don't know. I can't take it back now.
But no, it's so true.
Just that is the most or the closest rewarding feeling I think we can have to what you would have walking off the stage after like doing a live show. Just that feeling of
when nothing breaks, technically.
Yeah. Like,
That's a great
we
feeling.
did this.
I walk off the stage and the computers didn't shit
Survive.
themselves.
Yeah. It was a bit of an out of body when there's like, we had a church full of friends and family, and shout out to also Schofield, old
Marion, yeah, with those costumes.
art department, absolutely. Like without that, it would have been a quarter of it. Like all those elements that you just think, oh, it's all about the camera and it's all about the edit, but having the art department just nail the costume, having it look beautiful, it makes the job a lot
The
easier.
devil is in the detail.
It is.
It
It's
really
just
is.
those little bits, they all just pile up.
And there's little
suddenly
things
you
that,
feel
like,
like Lego Tower.
Yeah.
It's better than Lego.
No, it doesn't. It's terrible. But also then having, I think the process where you have the idea when you write it, is one chance at making a movie, the other is filming it. That's another chance, and then the edit is another one. And I remember really clearly, like 3 a.m, we had just been on this edit, and like something's just not clicking, and because we had shown them kissing at certain earlier parts, like let's hold the kiss until, and I'm like when you go. Yeah, that's why that was
crescendo.
absolutely disgusting.
Yeah.
Just
do it again.
Yeah,
that's
basically the same.
That's nice.
It's all
I thought that
auto-tune.
was Ben.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can make it sound good.
Yeah. Why don't you make yourself sound
All of us can all of us can do auto tune.
Yeah, mate. All right. And it wasn't until like that all laid in place and the kiss happens at that crescendo, and we're like, there it is. Like, got it.
That was just like, let's
Sorry,
see what happens.
my brain was just
I don't
like,
know. Remember in the first listen to Soul, they hit the hi-hats or something. I was like, I got the drum
Oh,
name
that's
wrong.
right, yeah.
I don't know. I just do the video.
Yeah,
And
we
then Michael,
just-
who's like the nicest guy on earth, was like, it's the snare. We're like, yeah, okay.
I still call them hi-hats today. It's more fun. But yeah, having that all come together. And I think
The hi-hats.
And it was also, I think we had 0 edit notes, which was pretty nuts. Like that it was like
That is-
done.
Another solo request.
Rare.
How did that happen?
Yeah. And, but also not from like Warner, who had every right to be like, who the hell are these boys? Like they just probably just thought we were all mates from school. It's like, no, we only knew them for 2 years.
I think a lot of people assumed that we'd known you guys all our lives, but we just met and
'Cause it's
connected
obvious,
so
yeah.
well that it was like, holy crap.
They're just charitable. So
These are the boys. Yeah, and they couldn't find anyone else or couldn't be bothered to. So
we Bradbury it.
like a needy dog. We just humped that leg until he decided to put a collar on us and take us around forever.
But yeah, I don't know. And I remember when listening to that song, it was like, it wasn't until like month 6 of listening to it. It was like, okay, here's an idea that,
that you liked it.
yeah.
Oh,
I mean, no,
I'm kind of getting it now.
Yeah.
I didn't really get it the
But
first
also like the sounds that
6
sound
months
like
of listening.
yeah.
That's what it takes to grow into one of us.
Or 6 years for those at home. Or
That's
more.
true. It's
Yeah,
just,
it's fine.
I'm hoping it's 10 years. I'm still holding out hope.
You'll be fine. There's always Double J. It's fine. But yeah, no, it was. It was just one of those a confidence building exercises.
Well, after that day, I was like, oh, I think I might be able to do this as a job, potentially. Because obviously you just fake it until you make it. And after that, I felt pretty damn confident.
Yeah, and it did feed into, as you know, we're doing other docos and other things, and people often look at free work or passion projects as a separate thing, but it's all these clips have 100% helped us, in commercial work and everything, because it's if you can do something like this, then you can do an interview or a seminar, because
Great
Yeah.
things stem from things made of passion
that's true,
and always unexpected as well.
that's right. But what is your favorite clip of ours?
What is it? I quite like Wheels.
Wheels.
It seems like a natural
That
progression.
was the next song.
That's the next.
But I
Pretty good at
actually,
segues.
I love the story of the Make Them Wheels roll clip, because that was the hardest one we've had to do with the shortest amount of time, and then still came out being probably, quality-wise, the best one that we've made. And probably also the one that was most like in line with what the song kind of feels
I think
like.
visually,
Yeah.
it just captured the mood.
It's a bit more
of
obtuse, a
the
little bit out there.
soon-
Yeah.
of the soon.
The
Of the song. It
soon. Nice crescendo there, man.
no, karma.
Crux
It really did capture the mood of that song.
Yeah,
I think
because
visually.
I remember you were talking about cogs in a wheel and all that kind of.
It's
just-
not like too literal, but
Yeah.
it's more like a series of themes, which is often what I quite like, in clips and visual art.
It was one of
having
those.
these kind of portraits, and then you kind of convey these themes through different images and different portraits, and
Absolutely, and a fun little wrestle Ben and I have, because he loves like great imagery, and I'm like, I want to care about the images. There needs to be a story. Like, no. I was like, so I still snuck one in here.
yeah, that's good. See, this was
But it worked. But it was like one of those things that didn't actually quite occur to me till literally the night before. Like, what it was that he actually like. Where did this idea come from? Because I remember we had pitched something similar, like to a previous. I think it was like a year before. But the only similar part was the fire near the water. But we made the stupid decision to pitch. All right, there's a guy who's standing on water trying to break through a giant pool. knowing that we'd have to have the clip made and on air within 10 days of pitching it. And so we had to really hustle, and we filmed in Parramatta Pool in May, so it was freezing in Sydney.
Wim huffing before it was cool.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you call hypothermia. It was fantastic.
It was actually we got the
I
hunger.
got chills. They're multiplying.
That's good. Did you reach your higher
came up
self?
with that. When we rapped, I did. That was cool because Parramatta Pool were like about to be demolished and turned into a new stadium, so they were just saying
Into more apartment blocks.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
We were just like, whatever.
The story of Sydney.
Yeah.
The hardest part about this was trying to make Guy, the actor there, look like he was standing out in the middle of nowhere. So it involved putting up a humongous black wrap around the back of the pool, which did blow over in the wind once,
and
we
it bent all
said a curse
the
word. And then he's out in the pool, and you can kind of see the
He's on
platform
like
when the fire
platform.
lights up.
He was such a good sport though, like out in the freezing cold. And
He was,
earlier
yeah.
that morning, we shot the scene at the end, with, freezing beach. At 6 a.m, which is our first time meeting. I'm like, thanks for doing this.
Thanks
and
for coming. So
total pro. I think having worked with David, it was like, oh, this is how there is a difference, and you are paying for it, and it's not just that they're a name. There's a reason they're a name.
Yeah.
And so we wanted to then, and also we had imposter syndrome because we're like, we got to follow up embracing, and we want to show that we can play with the big boys and do clips for Warner and beyond. And so we we had full heads of department. I remember going to Sydney and meeting all these guys, very intimidating because they knew a lot more than I did. And little things, even just filming underwater, we had a separate specialist DP, John Shaw. Tim Barnsley was the main DP. But even things like being told, all right, you need to black wrap the corner of the pool. So I went to Lincraft and just bought every bit of black they had in there, and it's just soaked it in the pool. So all these scenes are just against a corner. And that's a good childhood friend, Tamron. She's a talented actress living in Sydney. I was like, Tamron, do you want to jump in some freezing water?
I
She's
love
like,
that shot.
That's
absolutely
awesome.
love that shot.
And that's actually a composite. I just kind of zoomed out and then found another shot of bubbles and laid it on top. So it made it look a lot bigger and more vast than it was.
And for me, I guess producing that clip, that was the first time I ever had a label presence on a clip. So yeah, we had the people from Warner there, and I just kind of remember being like, oh, this is now a balancing act between managing like the shoot and making sure the shots are happening, but also just kind of like keeping the label informed and saying this is all going well, what's happening here. It taught me a lot about like what the real industry, I guess, is like. So like on so many levels, this clip was like the step into the big leagues, and I use that in inverted commas.
Yeah.
But but it was a nice try. Good one, kid.
It did well.
But we did it within 10 days, and it came out. And I think that with the cameras we used, that was probably I think that might have been an ARRIA mirror, potentially, or even an Alexa.
I think it was an Alexa. Tim got some Cook primes.
Yeah.
And just nailed it. And not us. I mean, Tim did. Obviously we did.
I did.
That's why we're
I
here.
just watched most of the time.
But yeah, and I remember, and also it's always a fun balancing act with ego and getting notes where you're like, you're fundamentally wrong, and I need to tell you in the nicest way possible. Not you. I remember it was a clip note, a label note, which was like, we want it to be underwater the whole time. Like, they're the best shots. Start with it. It's like, well, where do you go from that? Like, you'll get bored of it. You get sick of it. Too much of a good thing. It's like too much whiz fizz,
Yeah.
Too much.
Yeah, it has to be a payoff to this, which is when he finally.
You want to invite them to come back and watch it again. So you don't want to give away all your best cards straight away.
Exactly.
Writing the song is the same thing. Although a lot of
would you
people
get notes like, we want the chorus at the start? You're like, no,
like,
I want a crescendo.
Are you sure you want an intro? Do you want to just start with the vocals? Because
Ben, were you getting notes all the time like, we want you in the video?
no, I think we've
It's the Comedy Central roast of Ben.
Is that enough roast? Am I doing all right?
yeah, they seemed there wasn't much pushback whenever we said we wanted a narrative video. They seemed pretty happy with that. I've never really put much thought to it. Though,
now you're like, hang on.
Yeah.
I think it's because it
more
wasn't
drops.
the cool thing at the time. Which
Well, I don't know. I
which
think-
is like, it was different because all back then it was the artist playing with, a sunset and grass, I don't know.
Yeah, we've always kind of established we've never really put our face to the music that much. We tried to really push the artwork and the video more than ourselves. Because at the end of the day, it's the song. Unless you are a type of person that that like is a big outward personality. I think by nature, all of us are quite introverted, private people, and we put all of ourselves into the music. So in that sense, yeah, it was always about highlighting the music and making that the thing that connects with people, because we know it would be forced if we were doing it the other way around, where it's pushing like ourselves the whole time. And then, yeah, as we go on, it's finding that balance. You know, it's not ideal in a modern culture where everything
But it's
is...
the right way to do it. Like, you'd rather be that
Well,
than be
I think
just the hot pop
yeah,
star
the
that
most
has other people
important
write and
thing
make their music for them.
For me, anyway. And I think as a fan of music and other things, I think the most important thing is to be authentic and to be yourself and to not try and be anything that you're not just because that's
The cool thing.
the way
Yeah.
that it works or might be the easiest route to success. Like if you are an outward going person that naturally fits into that platform of social media, TikToking, anything, then that's great and
And you do
that's
well.
awesome
and
for
that's
you.
fine. Yeah,
But yeah, I think it's still a good idea to, like, very important to stay authentic and stay true to yourself. And in that sense, we really do put all of ourselves in the music. So it's about like highlighting that without trying to cloud it in images of us as a.
Well, I just always like you guys do such a solid live show, and this is the only time I'm going to say.
And
it
it's
to.
the live show
And
as well. Yeah.
I don't think you can capture that with cameras. Like there is an element of performance you can capture, and I think that's its own kind of video. But having them as sole music videos, I just didn't watch music videos like that, so I didn't want to make them just because that would get us more jobs. And I remember that was actually probably one of the reasons we kind of wound down, because a lot of clip sort of pitches for other artists, it was like, okay, they need to be playing or doing this, and I was like, I wouldn't even watch that, so I don't want to make it.
I think, yeah, if you put real love and real passion into it, there's going to be someone out there that's on your wavelength and that it
just
really connects with.
Yeah.
It might not be as many people, but the actual connection that you'll have will be stronger and longer lasting and more real.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think at the end of the day, that's what music and art is about. And if you're doing that on a small level or on a large level, then that's awesome, because it's bringing people closer together and having that sense of connection.
Yeah. I can attest to that. I remember that clip you showed me from Arcade Fire Afterlife. Directed by Emily Kai Bock, I still think is the masterclass.
That is the benchmark. That is the
in
top.
Storytelling in a music video. I think if anyone at home needs to watch this.
Yeah, don't watch these ones. Watch
Watch that because it's,
JB.
no, but it's just this beautiful thing where they go. There's the obvious idea, and they don't do the obvious idea, which be heaven or whatever. It's like what does an afterlife actually look like to people left behind?
The ones left behind.
And it was just beautifully done. It's subtle. It doesn't hit you over the head with exposition, and it's heartbreaking. It is a beautiful piece of art. And
well, I think that's why we've all been able to keep a connection and stay friends for so long, is because that idea again of us being like the film versions of the SAFIA guys, is because we appreciate that something like Afterlife. Yeah, people have heard that song, but it's no one's favorite song. But it's our favorite clip.
yeah.
And it's something that we have connected with, and I still think about all the time. And if I watch it, I will get goosebumps. And it's awesome. And they're the things that just, I don't know, if you want to have longevity in this world, because things change so much and trends change.
Yeah.
If you stay true to yourself, and that's what will keep SAFIA going for years and
things
years.
change, but authenticity and real emotion and real connection is intrinsically human, and that doesn't change.
I think it's balanced out with imposter syndrome as well, which is very human. So it is kind of doing that truthfully, right?
Yeah, those things will continue to connect on a human level if they come from a real place, I think.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And I think it's also if you are, I think, chasing trends too much and just making those. We have made stuff like that. I haven't watched it since we've made it. As in just in general, whether it's commercial stuff or other I don't even really remember doing it, because it was this wasn't really mine.
Well, sometimes the act of making what you guys do and also what we do, especially say if you were to make a film, and for us, say making an album, or I know for us and for myself, it takes us a long time. We're very involved, and then a film or a short film is like triple that. And so whatever you're making, if you're making it to a trend, the trend's going to be gone by the time you've done it. So it has to be like, there has to be something in your gut that like speaks to you in making that, because that's the only thing that will push you through to create and finish that piece of work.
I think it's like like a voice. Like you just want to have a voice, because if you're not like with film, and this is how like we approach it, but I imagine it's exactly the same with music, where it's like, for us, it's like, you know, what is the story you want to tell, or how is this story or this character or whatever different to something that already exists? And yes, there are the structures and, you know, the journey that you have to go, that, you know, there are rules to follow, same as a song.
But what do you do?
But it's like, what are you wanting to do?
Yeah.
And you make it, and as you say, like, it might not be the most popular song, but to some people, it will be the song that
It'll
they
connect
remember.
and
and you want to
it'll
make
find those
connections,
people on your wavelength
as creatives.
I think, and that's what, you know, the talk about having your own voice and treading your own path.
I think
and
that
it might be longer, and it might, you know, people around you might seem like they're getting away with a lot of stuff that's kind of thrown together, but yeah, I think longevity in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. And also it comes from the like learning, being fluent in the language. It's almost like, you know, getting the technical stuff already out of the way, because it's like we do it every day. So now we can just tell a story. So like writing isn't typing. Typing is one thing, but writing is another thing. It's the combination of words. You might spell them perfectly, but if you don't put them in the combination that actually connect.
I think that, the technique and the hard work is, you know, that's 90% of the time, and you turn up and you work every day, even though like ideas might not necessarily come. But it's those technique and hard work that you use as soon as that like idea or that little spark of inspiration comes. It's having that skill set then to bring that into fruition and to make it happen afterwards. And without that, like those fleeting ideas are harder to imagine and harder to realize and harder to manifest.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think, you know, if anyone is out there listening and wants to, you know, make music or videos, it's literally just do that. Just make it.
It is the thing. Like I know there's a lot of luck involved, but it is that, you know, classic thing of saying luck and tenacity or whatever. You know,
luck is a combination of tenacity and timing, and you can control one of those things.
Oh, that's wonderful. Tenacity. That's the first time I've ever heard that.
And the more you do stuff, then timing becomes more frequent. It's a Jimmy Ennett special. Terrible. But yeah, where do you
guys think music videos fit in these days? And as an artist and as a creator.
Yeah, I'm keen to hear your thoughts actually, Ben. You're
for me
more in the
now,
world now about it.
Yeah, like for me, I don't necessarily think every song from my point of view, needs a music video. No, but now my approach anyway is, if the song calls for a video, if there's a clear idea or a clear vision that you want to create, then, and it mightn't necessarily need to be the single anymore, but I think, certain songs kind of spark a video idea straight away, and you're like, wow, this could really bring that to life. And so that's kind of my focus now, like as I'm writing new music, writing down ideas or any kind of visuals that come to mind, or themes, or strong, like, oh, this would be cool if we captured the song and like brought it to life via these visual means. Rather than like forcing, like,
it kind of creates a third thing, right?
Yeah.
It's neither music nor a video. It's like its own little thing that can.
Again, I think if it's made, like, if it's done cleverly and it's done with passion, there still is a place for music videos. I think they are definitely leaning in the direction now where it's almost like an advertisement for the artist, and so they are very artist centric, and ones with it kind of promotes the artist as a personality. It's the question of like the narrative video, or maybe the more abstract video.
Or the nowadays the viral video. Like,
if you got a TikTok.
So here's the PDF brief. We need to go viral.
Well,
that's a bit hard.
Yeah, that's
because the
one
point
you
of
don't
it,
even bother with. It's just you can't really force something viral.
Well, it's hard because there's obviously like a marriage between a clip and a song. Like the point of the music video is to make the song better. The example I just thought of was "This Is America," like Childish Gambino. Those two need to be seen together basically because it's a piece.
Yeah, it transcends either one.
Yeah, exactly. But I think since we've been doing music videos since 2013, that first clip, so much has changed in the industry, and I don't know if it's because of TikTok or maybe it's the saturation of the market. Maybe we're just becoming old men. I don't know.
I think it's a democratization of tech as well. I mean, you can go to JB and get a camera that's better than the ones we've filmed at.
But like an album now, I think it's about creating that community and that fan base. So I think it's almost for them more than anything. Maybe not necessarily, the video is going to break the song or break through all these things, but it is about building that community of people who already connect with the music and will find it. So you kind of, if you start from that point and make like cool stuff, and then if you're lucky, some things connect, like those timing and
well, luck is one song, talent is multiple albums. You know, like that's just that's what it sort of comes down to. And there's definitely the age of the one-hit wonders seems to be waning a little bit more. There's a bit more of that. Or maybe it's just because we're in it and we don't know they're one hits until we don't hear about them again. But like, it's just doing something that is good to you. And if it connects with five people, great.
Lots of niches are breaking out now. So it's just like lots of little communities, but are now all big enough with a big enough platform that they can become self-sustaining, which is it's kind of cool in a way. And it allows a bit more room for creativity, and there's not this big... There is still a giant gap between... like mainstream and then like independent artists, but there is still like a more pathways for smaller artists to sustain a living and be able to keep making music and grow without needing to be on top 40 radio, which I think is a really good thing for art and creativity, because it, artists need like time, I think. And we get, especially in this country, get very infatuated with, the new artist and the new thing. But like, it's just over time, as you keep kind of sitting down to write and understanding a bit more about it, it does get better, and the artists do get better.
You look at Tame Impala. I mean, it wasn't like the first album was an amazing. Like it just Kevin.
Well, it
Parker,
was amazing. But
it was amazing, but it didn't have that mainstream hit. But then, damn talented bastard. But and I think that the way that Australian music is supported here as well is pretty great. Like we've got things like Triple J.
Well, I don't think it's a coincidence that Unearthed and then you messaging Ben. I don't think that's a unique story. Because for people like us, filmmakers obviously, and people who want to be in this industry, like we don't really have a platform like Unearthed. We don't know how to get our start, and that's one of the biggest things that we get asked often is how do you even start? And I actually think genuinely, apart from making your own short films and going out there, is finding a musician and finding an artist who's like-minded and saying, hey, let's work together and let's just go on this journey, because like they both, one hand helps the other.
But don't do it to a clip to music you think will be popular.
No.
It has to be music you like.
Someone that,
because you're going to listen to that
and you think
fucking song 1,000 times. So you better like it.
Yeah. There were times where I was like, we're probably the only people on earth, apart from the band, who have heard the song
this
more
many times. But it also shows in the work that you do. Like, go on Unearthed, find your vibe, find your tribe. Boom, there it is. I drop it, but
it's only one-liners. You should run a campaign.
Jimmy Ennett, the Jimmy Ennett doll coming soon. Timing and tenacity is wonderful. I'd buy that doll.
Thanks, doll. But it is. It just comes like that's what I want to get back to. Like we're secure in the commercial work we're doing. That if I was to do more clips now, I would not want to do it in a label system. I'd want to do it with an artist that I love.
And I think that's
stuff. And it's like, let's just make something.
My approach now too is that very like, I'll make a clip for the song that feels it's right for.
Yeah.
I'm not going to force a clip down
on
every
the hopes
song's
and then watch
throat.
the view counts and it's
just try and throw something together, send out the briefs and like, hey, who wants to write this? This is like, no, I think the ideas need to kind of start from the same place and then grow outwards. And if it doesn't call for it, maybe it's something else, something different. something creative. You could do like a live video for one, or a series.
And that was always a thing. Like, we was like, what's a challenge? What's something that we want to throw in here? Like, not just. And that often that were the parameters that would then kickstart. Like, let's do the single shot, or let's make a bloody church full of people with no money.
Let's make a man stand on water.
Yeah, let's make a man stand on water within 10
All
days.
very religious themes.
I'm not actually religious at all. It's weird. If you can't tell. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's just doing what you love. Then it doesn't really feel like work. That's really lame. I've just been drinking every time something wanky's been said.
Yeah, it's just drinking game for those.
Now he's hammered.
But yeah, I think we've been very lucky for one thing, but as you say, there is a reason why I think we've been able to continue having this career as filmmakers and musicians, and it isn't because we gave up. It's because we kept trying, and we kept going, and we wanted to do new things, and we wanted to challenge ourselves. And if you're passionate about something, that's what you need to do.
Yeah.
Like, there's no point phoning it in or just saying, I want to be Spielberg. Where it's like, but why do you want to be Spielberg?
Exactly.
Because we know now, especially after Ariana-gate and all the other things, that you're not doing it for the fame. You're doing it because you want to make cool crap.
Yeah. And there's a lot of crap that just people don't see. Like,
we've made some crap.
Oh,
yeah.
But like, you look at a perfectly finished building, you don't go, well, that just popped up like that. It's like, there was scaffolding. There was some builders,
You
and
should
they
see my
built-
hard drive and the amount of thrown away songs.
No, unless you're the FBI. that got awkward.
New music coming this year, Benny. Speaking of cool crap, I don't know why.
All the new music got rated.
Yeah.
Start again.
Terrible. But I think it is daunting looking at perfectly formed things. Like, even if it was 2013 and I saw a crystal ball 2 years in the future and saw Embrace Me, I'd be like, how the fuck? That's
get that?
not.
Yeah.
But it's just those iterations, and it's actually just also trusting other people to be better at the thing that they do than you are. I found a better DP than me, a better person with an imagination, with costumes, locations, an actor doing a performance better than I could direct, but still respected me enough to listen to my notes, and I felt like a collaboration. And it was like those sorts of things build confidence, and I think confidence and decision making are really all you need.
Yeah.
They're the only
Decisiveness.
personality skills you need with making any kind of, especially art in the collaborative form that we do with that many people. You just need to be decisive. It doesn't. You can say red or blue. It doesn't. There's no wrong or right. Just make a decision. Red.
And then just make it.
And just make it. Make
the
it
thing.
till you
Make it do.
Yeah.
Well, guys, we've been going over an hour now.
Oh,
sorry.
That was like
a
church.
surprise.
listening.
Church could be more interesting than what we just talked
Yeah.
about. Amen.
How many people have you lost off your page?
Well, but before we go, I've got to ask one more question about Sam's game show career.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
God, how is this linked?
That's some great research.
Well, yeah. I am Sam Tremayne, star of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire?
Yeah, and do you know all about
Chase?
the Australian Open now, or the Australian tennis after that question?
Oh yeah,
Oh,
that's the old 20,000.
The Davis Cup. I don't think I'll ever forget about that. It's such a shame because those two game shows. Obviously, like I have to say, like it wasn't that hard to get on those shows. Like they need young people all the time. So when I went on Hot Seat, it was just for a laugh. And then when I went on the Chase, I was like, I want to win some money. Oh, and here's something Nick's prepared earlier. There's Jimmy.
Oh, yeah.
Hey.
Oi.
I thought I had that on private on my YouTube.
That's out there.
Yeah, it's out there. It's out in the world.
21 whole views, baby.
Nice shirt.
Like and
21.
subscribe.
I stole that off my brother, actually. Yeah. Thanks, Lou. Shout out.
It's beautiful.
This is
I've
one of the
seen it
funniest
from
things.
so cool.
Because if
yeah.
we talk about like when people are like, oh yeah, your career, it's like this is often
This is
mentioned
his
at the
real
same
passion.
time, which is what's happened. My passion is game shows. Jim and I actually auditioned for one recently, but because of COVID over Christmas, they had to postpone it.
I think it was just 'cause we sucked.
and now we're yet to get the
Yeah.
email back.
Yeah.
This is if we're talking about putting yourself out there and giving it a shot. Honestly, fill the application out because you might get a call back and suddenly you have a chance to win real money.
Well, worst case, they flew us both to Melbourne, put us up. I was like, "Hi, Eddie." That was my entire role.
Yeah.
And it was sick. We got.
And I won no money, but the girl that was sitting next to me, the nice girl I met on the day,
And
Lucy, ended up
provided-
winning 20 grand.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, wow. And it provided a lot of entertainment
Chase, yeah.
for all the friends.
We were filming
yeah, for the
the
friends.
day after this was on air. We were filming at UC in the in like the hospital bit.
Oh, now he's got the
And this
business
old
shirt
lady, she stopped. She got in front of the
This is the
set,
top
and she
part
has.
of
I'm
it.
sorry, I have to interrupt. Were you on the chase last night? And his head is still inflated from that. And that
Yeah,
was
my
about
first ever
3
fan
years
selfie.
ago. Yeah. Just loving it.
I also had like
Yeah.
2 hours sleep that night because my friend who was in Melbourne, we hung
bought
out and we
yourself
drank
a new car
beers.
with that.
I didn't even have a shower.
I was impressed. Like, that's some good trivia knowledge
Yeah.
you got there.
I did a lot of. I did
We're
some
a bit of
study.
we're
She cost
pub
me
trivia
20 grand.
fans
That
as
lady. I'm still burned out about it. Best bit about that day was, oh, Channel 7. What are you doing? Come on. Meeting Andrew O'Keefe was hilarious. He was like the funniest guy ever. We made.
He's been cancelled. We can't.
Yeah.
I
being
forgot about
cancelled?
that. It makes sense after the conversation.
Rightly so.
I am so out of the news. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I'm only just thinking that now that we're playing this.
Apologies. I had
That's
no
right.
idea.
We also mentioned Max Landis, who's also been cancelled. So,
Oh,
yeah.
and we are next.
No, thank you. Next.
Thank you. But yeah, so these were a lot of fun. I want to try more. Like I'm thinking Hard Quiz could be a fun one on ABC.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no cash prize for that, but that could be a
What
good
would
one.
your specialty subject be?
I don't know because I've tried to audition before.
SAFIA.
I reckon it'd be
Maybe Canberra.
Twister. It'd be Twister movie
Could
city.
City of
that.
Canberra.
That's
Yeah,
enough of it.
Twister would be because
Twister,
I'm a
yeah.
big fan of having a shame
Not a Zinger
movie
Burger
that
guy,
you're
loves
fan
a
of.
Twister.
And
Loves
I
a
love
Twister.
coloured dots.
Yeah.
Uh, I just think, don't be ashamed of your shame movie. If you
Yeah.
enjoy a movie or if you
Amen.
enjoy bad music, that's your prerogative.
You can make a
It's
whole career
your
out
thing.
of it, which is great. You can slap some images on it and ride the coattails. So. Not to-
That was my
Guys,
moment in the
Yeah.
spotlight. So thank you for shining it back on me.
That was awesome. Thank you so much for coming in, guys. That was
Thank you, Nick.
great to
Thanks,
chat.
I think you're doing an
Thank you,
awesome
mum
job.
and dad, for watching.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam and Mum, for watching.